I'm being stalked. Okay, that might be a little dramatic. But guys, I went out yesterday with a guy and we were in a parking lot. We were just talking and we were sitting there. I know it sounds suspicious, but like seriously, we were just talking and somebody pulls up next to us and this is an empty parking lot. Like this parking lot is to a beach and I live in Ohio where it is, it's like 10 degrees at night. So obviously nobody was at the beach and we were just sitting in the parking lot. There's like a couple people in the car and they all get out and start walking towards the car and I can't see, like I have really bad vision. So I can't see until they're literally at the door knocking on the window to the car. And the person in the car ended up being a guy that I used to talk to, but I told him that I just wanted to be friends. Like he knows this. I have like endless screenshots of me telling this dude that I don't want like a relationship with him. He stalked my Snap map and pulled up to where I was because I wasn't answering because I was with another guy. So he literally stalked me, came to the car and was talking to the guy, and this guy has no idea who he is. Like the poor guy I was with was probably so uncomfortable because like who is this dude? And this guy that I told I just wanted to be friends was like, oh, what are you guys doing? Like he was having a normal conversation as if anything about it was normal. And this is not the end of the story either. Like he was standing in the window forever and it was getting so cold in the car because like I said, it's like 10 degrees outside. So I was like, it's getting cold, like we're gonna shut the window, goodbye, have a nice night. Like I thought I escaped, and then after he kept on calling me and like I felt bad for the guy that I was with because I have some dude calling me over and over again. So I just let him answer and like say, oh, like she's good over here or something. I forget what he said. It was a joke, like nothing serious. That's literally all it was. We picked up for a second, said that, and then hung up. There was no like being rude or anything. He dropped me off at 10 because that's the time that I had to be home, but I had forgotten a lip gloss and a lip liner in his car, so he wanted to like come bring it back. That's when I get news that they are sitting at the end of my street. This guy came to my street where I live and camped at the end of the street waiting for him to drop me off. And at this point I had already blocked him on Snapchat and like on his phone number because he was spamming me like on both of those. And I was horrified because why did they like come to the house? I don't understand. So like I was locking the doors, locking the windows, like telling my mom, like I was scared. Like everybody was. And the guy was coming back, so I told him like run inside and do not leave. Like we had, oh my god. And like rationally in anybody's head you'd be like, oh, like they're not gonna do anything, but I have really bad anxiety. Like I've talked about it before. I've been on medication since 8th grade and I was horrified because this boy has joked about like very violent things before and he just like, I don't know, I was getting scared. I was thinking about like everything that he said before. But anyways, like I said, it's a little bit dramatic to call that being stalked, so I'm not like actually being serious when I say that. I'm just saying that I was literally stalked off of Snap Map and then got followed home. But although you might call me dramatic for saying stalking, I do think it's really weird and I need your guys' opinion because like I know that sometimes like people will go and like stalk their boyfriend or something like that, like pull up to where their boyfriend is if they think they're cheating. But like I was not talking to this guy and I told him I didn't want him. Like it was very gutsy for him to just like knock on the car window and act all pressed when like he knew that we were never gonna. And like I said, I had him blocked on Snapchat and the phone number, so he started texting me on Instagram. And he was texting me like, oh, like I didn't mean to scare you or anything, because my friend, like he was texting my friend and she was telling him like, you're scary, like. And truthfully, I don't think that he was sorry at all. I think he just knew I was gonna talk about it on TikTok. Like I have genuine in my head, like that's what I think. He was like, I don't know what was going through my head, but he literally drove all the way to my house. Like it had to be at least a 20-minute drive, and this was like 2 hours later. He came to my house 2 hours after he saw us in the car. So like I don't know. And I was responding pretty dry, but also I was telling him like, you scared me, like you're scary, that was scary. Because I wanted him to be aware of how weird that is, like genuinely. Pulling up to my house and sitting there just outside, waiting for me to get home or what? Like I was paranoid because like him knowing where I live and like being able to just like come here whenever, like I don't know, it was freaking me out. But then eventually I ended up blocking him on Instagram too. He was like, I know I can't like fix what I did and I know it was wrong, and I'm like, yeah, I'm glad. So this is just like a PSA that if you think that you should go stalk somebody and make them super uncomfortable, don't. Like even after they weren't on my street anymore, I was so terrified. I had my brother go like drive around and make sure that they weren't like anywhere nearby before the guy that I was with left, because I didn't know what they were there for. Like what did they want to do? I didn't know if they wanted to like, I'm not saying that they would have like hurt him or anything, but like mess with him or like throw something at his car or like anything like that. I just did not want, like this was the first time I ever hung out with this guy and this was his impression of me. So I just felt really bad because, like, how did I get myself and him into that situation, being like pulled up on when we were sitting in a parking lot. I was low-key so embarrassed that that happened while I was hanging out with this guy because I was actually really into him, and like I don't know. Anyways, let me know what you guys think and if I'm being dramatic about anything. But this is my makeup. Thank you so much for watching. Bye guys, I love you.
Get ready with me while I tell you why 2020 was the worst year for me. 2020 was the year for me. I was graduating high school. I was a senior girl. I was gonna go to prom. Literally walked the stage. I was so pumped, baby. But COVID happened. Literally drove 4 hours for my prom dress, and I paid over $600. And I had a prom date, but let's not talk about that one. So everybody knows that after COVID hit, literally everything shut down, which meant school was shut down as well. We had online classes, meaning no prom and no graduation. It was terrible. I was low-key really sad because I had everything planned. And the thing that made me so mad was that other schools literally found a way to get a prom, get to walk the stage. Like, somehow they all figured it out. But my school, it's all football this, football that, football. Can you guess what school we go to? Or I went to? Football this, football that, football. Fuck education. Okay, so, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I was so happy for the people that actually got to, like, walk the stage and stuff like that. But, like, somehow they all figured out how to do it, yet my school couldn't figure it out. And I'm like, how did everybody else figure it out? But, like, my school just really didn't get played. You know what I'm saying? Okay, but no, like, for real, if you want to guess what high school I went to, like, just guess. Football this, football this, football that, blah, 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 football up my ass. But I'm not gonna lie, I was, like, heartbroken and, like, super sad. But I was also mad at my school because, like, they couldn't, like, get it together. And I'm like, seriously? Like, come on now, help us out. But I also got broken up with, I guess, or whatever you want to call that, from my high school boyfriend. But that's a whole nother story time. But let's not say. Even though it hit hard, I didn't know, like, the worst part wasn't even here yet. During that year, literally come back for part 2 because that's like the longest part of the story. Okay, welcome to part 2. So this is where it gets intense. The year progressively gets worse. I finally graduated high school though. I was taking online courses, and I lived at the time with my grandparents, my grandma and my grandpa. And my mom as well, but she always had work. But my grandpa actually decided to take a trip while obviously all this COVID was happening. But it wasn't really like crazy. Like, you didn't really hear much about it. Mind this, he also asked if we wanted to go. But like, I said no because like I just didn't want to go. Not because I was scared. I just didn't feel like going. We also told my grandpa like to just be careful because like we knew COVID was a thing. But my grandpa's a little hard-headed, so, like, he was like, no te preocupes, like, I'll be fine or whatever, right? And I'm like, okay, like, we didn't really think anything of it, right? The plan was if we didn't go with him, he was going to invite somebody else. But he ended up inviting somebody else because we obviously said no. He comes back from the trip, and he has diarrhea, he was coughing, like, fever, and we're like, oh my god, like, there's no way he has COVID. Like, nobody really heard about it, like I said. But he literally progressively like got worse and was just like stuck in his room, and it was bad, right? But we didn't know he had COVID. Like, he just had all these symptoms, and we're like, oh my god, it's like time to go get him checked and see if he actually has COVID. So me and my grandma decided to find a clinic to see where we can get like instant results to see if he had COVID or not. So we decided to go, and it was like a place like somewhere nearby. I think it was like 30 minutes from our home, but we went, and he got tested really quick or whatever, and they said they would email us the results, and obviously if you have COVID, it'll come back quick. But like, I was really scared because like my grandpa, he has like diabetes, and he has like other really bad health conditions. So, like, I was low-key scared, you know? I mean, like, because we never really know. And so, on the way home, I'm, like, driving, because I was the one driving. And I'm, like, praying. I'm, like, please, like, no. Like, I don't want him to have COVID. Like, I just want him to be okay, you know? Okay, well, we get home, and we get the email. And turns out he, in fact, does have COVID. And I was like, oh, man, like, this is crazy. Like, I wasn't expecting it. I was like, okay, like, everything will be fine, you know? So we all, like, basically moved out of the house and we went to stay at my aunt's house. The only people over here, I believe, were my grandma and my mom at the time. With my grandpa, they were just helping him quarantine. And so we stayed like that for a while. So my grandpa was mainly stuck in his room, and one night he had, like, a heart attack and he, like, fainted. And so my mom and my grandma called the ambulance, like, super quick. And they came and they helped him and they put him in the truck. And my grandma and my mom were like, hey, you need to take him to the biggest hospital, like, here in downtown. Like, I don't know which one it is, but it's, like, one of the main hospitals. I think it's, like, a really good hospital. But the ambulance people decided to take him to some freaking hospital in freaking Pasadena. And, like, it was terrible, y'all. Like, they literally didn't listen. So now he's at the hospital in Pasadena, and we're all just, like, praying every day, like, everything's gonna be okay, like, it's not. They literally had to put him in a tube, for a breathing tube, because he couldn't breathe on his own anymore. It got, like, to the point where he just couldn't anymore. Like, his body was giving up slowly. And so every day, my mom would call the nurses. Mind this, nobody could go into the hospital because it was COVID, and it was, like, strictly, like, only patient. Like, nobody else can come in and visit or whatever, like, to see him and check up on him. The only way to, like, keep in contact was to call. So my mom called, like, 5 times a day, like, if she was his nurse, and she would call, she would get his vitals, write everything down in a notebook. Like, she literally had a whole subject notebook just specifically for every day. Boom, 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 just like that. And she would write down all his vitals and everything. Props to my mom. She's such a strong one. She was the oldest. She's the oldest. And literally, she wrote everything down. And we had those days where it was like, the nurse would be like, oh my God, he's having a good day. Like, da-da-da. And then next thing you know, it's just a bad day. And then it's a good day. And then it's a bad day. And it's just like, we were like this. It was constant up and down, up and down. But then one of his lungs, like, completely gave up. And it was time to, like, make a decision between the family. And the thing that sucked the most is that my grandpa, he was, like, awake. Like, he knew what was happening, what was going on. And it sucked, you know? Because it's like, oh my God, like, put yourself in his position. And, like, you can't speak or anything. And you can literally only, like, move your eyes or blink. I don't know, I just think it's and we came to the conclusion that it was time to let him, like, go, because you could tell he was so tired. And so the family said our last goodbyes, and we had to make it over the phone because obviously it was COVID and we weren't allowed to see him. So seeing him through that FaceTime call, y'all, it just sucks because that was the last time I saw him, and I hated seeing him like that, bro. Like, he just looked so tired, and it sucked, bro. It really, really did. The only people that actually were able to go see him for the last time was my uncle, my mom, and my grandma. So they went, and I had wrote a little note for them to, like, read to my grandpa, you know, before they unplugged him. And my note, I was just telling him that I'm gonna miss him and that I love him so much, and that he's literally the best grandpa in the world, and that he was literally like my father to me, because my father wasn't really present. And he was like, I just thanked him because I was like, I wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for you. I wouldn't have traveled like almost the world if it wasn't for him. And it was just so hard, but they write him the letter or whatever, and it was just hard. And eventually they just had to unplug him. So once they did that, he was not with us anymore. May he rest in peace. And I love him so much. Like, I wish he was here to see like everything that I've done. But you know, no one talks about like how something can just happen like this. Like, you don't even know, bruh. Like, I regret so much, you know? Like, I wish I was there. Every time he said, hey, come with me or something, like, I wish I would have gone. Like, low-key, I be blaming myself sometimes, but we just always have to tell our loved ones that we love them, hug them, because you don't even know, like, when is the last time you're going to see them, you know? This took a turn from part 1 to part 2, but that was literally one of the worst years ever for me. But my family's not the only one that went through it. I know it. Like, I know there's other families, and I'm so sorry. Like, I don't wish that upon anybody. It's, like, the worst thing ever that anybody could go through. But stay strong, you know, guys. Anyways, thanks for getting ready with me and saying my story. Anyways, I just want to say I love you, Grandpa. I miss you so much, and I wish you were here. I really wanted you to see everything that I've been doing. I'm gonna stay strong, but I know you're watching over me. But I love you so much. Te quiero. I miss you. Bye, guys.
I had to send a hey girly message yesterday, and it was like the worst moment of my life because I've never wanted to have to do that to someone. But I kind of pride myself on being a girl's girl. Like, I try my best. I don't think I used to be, so I'm like really trying now to be a girl's girl, and I think it's coming like more naturally to me now. Hello, what is that? Anyways, I was just scrolling through my notifications on Instagram, and as I usually do, and I get a lot of notifications of people like liking my old stories and stuff, but this one guy comes up and he has liked, I'm not even kidding, every single highlight of me that is of me, right? So like none of the ones of like the landscapes or like me and my friends, like only the ones are of me. And like, weird, right? But you know, I get that sometimes. Like, I just get people liking old stuff. So whatever, and I'm curious, right? I click on his profile. First of all, he doesn't even follow me, so he's gone for like a good old stalk, and he's not embarrassed and ashamed to be known as like this guy that doesn't even follow me and he's liked all my things. Anyways, he has a girlfriend of 3 years, I think more even, and I'm like going through their highlights and stuff. Yeah, I go through everything. But anyways, going through their highlights and stuff, she's really cute, whatever. Find out her name. Let's call her Penelope. Find out Penelope's name. Look it up in his following and messaged her. And I was pretty much just like, I did say hey girly. I probably should have said hey girl because hey girly is like a little bit cliche, but anyways, I said hey girl, hey girly, just letting you know your man has liked. I didn't want it to seem like I'm saying like your man's all up in my likes, but I was like, oh hey, like your man liked all my highlights. I just thought I should let you know because I would want someone to do the same. And then she just said thank you with a smiley face. Like, she didn't seem mad or anything, but he has since removed all his likes. Thank you. But personally, if my man had been doing that, I'd probably break up with him. But I get it, they've been together for a long time, whatever. But also, I think she might have it in her head that like, okay, see if you get my perspective here. If like my man had been liking like an influencer's stories, not trying to say like, oh, I'm an influencer, but like if my man had been liking like an influencer or like a celebrity stories, I'd be like, whatever, like she's never gonna say it, she's never gonna think he has a chance, whatever. So I'd kind of ignore it. Like if like my boyfriend was liking Anna Paul stories, you know what I mean? Like So, and these people seemed like they were very, very country, so I don't think they don't live in the city, like, they're not, I don't mean this to sound rude, but, like, I feel like she's gonna be like, oh, it doesn't really matter, because she's kind of, like, an influencer type of thing, so it doesn't really matter that he liked it, like, he was just liking influencer stuff, but to me, like, it's way deeper than that, like, it was all photos of just me, like, I didn't specify that, but it wasn't just, like, all of my highlights of, like, scenery and stuff, it was only the ones of me. It's just weird, right? Like, I'm not being dramatic right now. This is weird. I would probably break up with my man if he'd been doing that. Anyways, bye.
Strict rules my parents had for me growing up, and some of these rules still stand to this day that'll make normal kids go into a coma. Number 1, screen time. Honestly, I still have one to this day, which I'm only allowed to be on my phone from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. at night, and anytime after that, like, my phone gets blocked. And it used to be way worse when I was younger, so, like, yeah, I wasn't allowed to date boys until I was the age I am now, which is 61 backwards. Like, I couldn't date a boy, I couldn't talk to a boy. Like, my dad didn't even really want me to be friends with boys simply because he thought that they either liked me or I liked them, so he didn't even like me being friends with them. Going into that, if I ever want to hang out with a boy now, like, my parents literally have to meet this guy. They have to freaking run background checks. Like, even if he's just my friend, if it's just like me and a guy hanging out, that's a no-go, and they're definitely not gonna let me do that. I'm actually not allowed to go to any concerts. I've only been to one, and that's Janet Jackson, because me and my mom love Janet, and my mom went, obviously, but other than that, I'm not allowed to go to any concerts, not even, like, Billie Eilish, like, Tate McRae, like, I'm not allowed to go to any of those. I can't wear short shorts in the house, especially if my dad's home, or if my brother has, like, a lot of friends over. I'm not allowed to wear short shorts, and the only shorts that are acceptable are, like, my boy shorts, unless I'm, like, in my room. I can't wear any of that. My parents literally hate when I wear makeup, and, like, I wasn't even allowed to wear the bare minimum mascara or blush. Like, even if I'd come out of the house with mascara on, my mom would literally, like, turn me back around and make me go scrub the mascara out of my eyelashes. Anytime I wear any type of bathing suits, or whenever I used to wear any type of bathing suits, whether that be a bikini or one piece, I'd have to wear shorts over it. And I don't even think I started wearing bikinis until last year. Like, I kid you not, I was in, like, one pieces forever. Crop tops, anything that shows my stomach, midriff, shoulders, anything of that nature, my parents literally hate and despise, and depending on where we're going, they will make me change. They don't really say too much now, and I genuinely feel like it's because I grew up in the dance world, and that's pretty much all we wear are, like, sports bras and shorts. So they don't really say too much now, but, like, they still don't approve of it. I haven't had my phone checked in a while, but there was never, like, we didn't have a set routine of when my phone would be checked, but they just happened randomly. And, like, I used to be so scared that my parents would find something in my phone. Have they found something? Yes, but it wasn't bad. They only just, like, found out that I, like, had my first kiss. But, like, they weren't super upset. They were just mad that I, like, lied about it, but whatever. House parties are literally a no-go unless my parents know you, and even then they'll still be a little skeptical and Slick might not let me go. Speaking of parties, they only really let me go to, like, parties that are at an event place because they trust that, but house parties are like, nah, they don't really, like, mess with that. Also, if I'm not with a big group of people and it's just, like, me and, like, 2 of my friends or 1 of my friends going somewhere, my brother and, like, my cousins have to tag along with me. They don't necessarily have to be all up on me, but they have to be in the same place with me to, like, be watching me at all times. We were not allowed to listen to rap music for a long time. Like, my mom literally, she still despises rap music, but she's more lenient now because we are older. But, like, no type of rap music was allowed in her house, not even in your room. And even if we were in the car with, like, headphones on, listening to rap music, she'd, like, make us turn it off. But honestly, I think that's all that I can think of off the top of my head. I know there's probably more stuff, and if there is a lot more stuff, then I'll definitely, like, do a part 2 for you guys. Let me know down in the comment section if my parents are too strict or they're just being good parents. Also, be sure to comment down in the comment section if this video made it to your For You page. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Bye!